All right, A to Z Sports. It is the well. Do we have a different graphic here? Because I'll let you know, Easton. We scored.
Hey.
The Titans got on the board there right at the end. I know we were preparing for the 28-0 show.
Yeah.
Titan halftime live here on A to Z Sports. It was arguably
No. What are you
doing?
There it is. There's the right score.
We were on the right one. I had it on the right one.
Oh. It's my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, you got me throwing me off here.
My bad.
Yeah, rough half of football, maybe the worst half of football ever until that final drive there by Will Levis with the touchdown pass to Nick Westbrook-Akine. But a lot of negatives to get into from the Titans. They look bad in just about every area. Coaching is bad. The offensive line is bad. The defense is bad. The special teams is really bad. They can't seem to hang on to the football. They're penalized in every facet in just about every way possible. Some
drops,
penalties, lack of discipline, drops,
inaccurate passing.
A lot of people to blame here. So there was a lot of bad.
Here's the real question, Sam. Name one good thing from that half.
That last drive by
besides the last drive. Besides like the last.
Well, you asked me to name one good thing. Huh?
Okay. Besides the two catches on that drive that were good, name one good thing they've done in general this game.
You asked for one good thing. I gave you that last drive by Will Levis is very
modifying
good.
My question. What's one thing they've done well all game?
I mean, they have not done an individual thing well as a team the entire game. That is, right. Speaks to the 28-7 score. So we're going to get into it.
Punt
give
coverage?
Some thoughts. We're trying.
Punt coverage, not bad, actually.
I
not
guess.
bad by their standards.
All right. Well, yeah, Chig had a good half. I'll give that
did.
Darius
This
here.
is
Chig Okonkwo got it done. He actually made a couple of very tough catches on some good throws by Levis, especially that one to the sideline where basically nothing had been working for the Titans on offense. And it felt like Chig was like the one guy who was like, hey, I'll actually catch the ball when you throw it to me, Will. So credit to Chig. I guess
I think he's the only guy that got off the bus, right? That's what it felt like the entire half until genuinely the last 2 seconds of the game where Ridley makes one big catch and NWI makes one big catch. But even, I mean, I've never seen a half of football like that, Sam, ever.
We're going to get into it here. Let me first, before we just rant a little bit more, let me talk about our partners here for the halftime show. They're X Golf Nashville and now in Murfreesboro, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain. Go to playxgolf.com. BetMGM, log in today to get your Pro Football Boost Pack to acquire tokens for more winnings. BetMGM is an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. T-Dot, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee by going and visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. Yeah, Easton, it really was an unbelievable first half.
Let me run it down real quick, just numerically. Can I run it down for the folks?
Yeah.
146 to 116 total yards. All of the Titans' yards came from the last drive. For most of the first half, the Commanders had more points and total plays run than the Titans had total yards. Yards per play, Commanders are killing them. Commanders have 16 first downs to the Titans 4. I think at least 3 of those came on the last drive. 105 passing yards to 96. They're running the ball like crazy. A bad Washington rush offense, running the ball really efficiently. Titans obviously 2 turnovers to the Commanders. 0. Here's the penalties. I mean, holy cow. 11 penalties for 85 yards in the first half.
Penalties in just about every way, right?
No, that's outdated, actually. That's wrong. This is more than 11. I think it's 13.
The final penalty number I have is 11 penalties for 85 yards.
Okay, it is 11 for 85. No, here's where I'm getting mixed up. 11 for 85. It's the most first half penalties by any team in the last 13 years of NFL football. That's where I got the 13 from.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's nice.
I mean, it really, the penalties coming in every way. Holding penalties, illegal formation. You can't get set at the line of scrimmage. You've got roughing the passer, the most undisciplined penalty possible in that spot. 3rd and whatever it was, 20, and Jaden Daniels checks down for a 5-yard gain, and Arden Key's going to pick up a roughing the passer penalty on the end and extend the drive, which then gives Washington a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, it was horrific. And look, hey, this is a bad game for the Titans coaching staff. It looks bad on everybody involved with the coaching staff. When your team is this undisciplined, when your team is this unprepared, it is a reflection of coaching. I will say, I will not do this, and this is me being Mr. Dr. Nuance here, but I am not going to sit here and also absolve blame from the players. I've seen a lot of people right now in the chat and people on on Twitter as I've been scrolling throughout this first half saying, this is not on the players. This is a coaching loss. No, these players are playing awful and are doing inexcusable stuff. The Titans coaches are not making the defense get just run over like with ease. They're not making Jaquan Jackson fumble the ball. Now they are putting
or Tony Pollard.
Yeah, or Tony Pollard to fumble the ball. Like, I mean, Easton, honestly, the reason I'm the most frustrated by that first half is I hit a point where I realized, okay, the Titans aren't going to win this game. It's looking bad, but at least
was that on the second or the third touchdown? When was that point for you?
Probably the third touchdown. That was like, okay. But, I was sitting there being like, well, let's just see what Will Levis has. And the game was 28-0 before Will Levis got to play football. He really hadn't even stepped on the field. It was
he had 6 attempts until that last drive.
I mean, the first possession, it was like false start holding, 2nd and 20 something. And then by the time he gets the ball back, it's 21-0. I mean, it really was. It's
the one thing we care about. They wouldn't even give us that. Right.
When you're somebody, if you're a Titans fan watching this game today, you went from wanting the game to be competitive to being like, okay, well, at least let's watch Levis and see if the offense looks better, to then just not even getting to see anything. It was just all Titans suck, giving the ball back to the Commanders and them scoring points.
I will have, we are limited, guys. I know very hot opinions in the comments that I want to get to, but we can't. Save those. We'll talk about all of it in the post game. I promise. We can't get into everything in the blame game here, just in the halftime show. We will get to all of those things at the end of the game. The one question I have here for halftime for us with the time that we have left is I've been talking and largely defending this coaching staff so far this season, despite being 2-8 and 3-8, talking about how most teams in their position, you get that moment where the quit starts to come in. Mm-hmm. You can see people start to give up. And for most of that first half, we were flirting with that, right? It's like, oh, is this the spot, right? Is this where it starts to fall apart?
Did we not get that? I mean,
well, I would say that we were officially there if it weren't for that last drive, right? And so I think that's the.
But I mean, we were, and like I will say this, I don't
saying for I
don't want to be the
5 minutes a game play. It was quit time.
Most of the guys on that team too, even on that last drive. I mean, Nick Westbrook-Ikine with 2 back-to-back just drops on first down on play, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's contagious. Even Mr. Reliable NWI is like dropping the ball. Levis makes that play to Calvin Ridley, extends the drive, and then ends up throwing the touchdown to NWI. And now here you are with the touchdown. And okay, at least I guess there's a little bit of not quit that you can bring into the half and see what you have in the second half. But
that's the question I'm asking, is that in the second half, I think it's going to be the narrative element of this that I'm looking for in the second half is, does this team take that final drive, final possession of the first half and show that they are not quitting in the second half? Do they show some fight, or do they roll over? Because
I think it's all determined. It's all determined by that first defensive possession. Like if you get run over again and you give up another score, you've already like.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is my prognosis for this team in terms of the grand scheme of things. This is one, like, this game could be the canary in the coal mine for this is where it all started to fall apart and everything needs to be blown up. Or we could look back on this game in a month and be like, wow, can you remember that game? What a crazy, you got to, like, sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw kind of game. And I think how they look in the second half in terms of their in terms of their fight, in terms of their togetherness as a team and determination to finish strong, that's going to be the biggest tell for me as to whether or not we're going to spend this week talking about how have these coaches lost their team all of a sudden, or are we going to talk about how, man, this team's really got a starting strong problem and they played an unbelievable half of football that we maybe just have to flush, but I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of puzzled what to make of that half. I didn't get to see enough from this offense to feel one way or another not necessarily the offense, but just the scheme, I guess, and what the Titans had dialed up. I think that first possession was really bad. I wanted to see Brian Callahan pivot a little bit more away from that screen game and that like dump off game. It felt like the Commanders were responding really well to the play actions, to the screens, to the things that have been their bread and butter. Maybe it's drop back passing. That is where the Titans need to go in the second half. But they didn't really have a chance to provide that answer. I don't know. People are all over the place. This was a disaster, Easton, because I'm just looking at the chat and I'm sitting here looking at the chat. The chat is in disarray. I will say, hey, chat, stop talking about Will Levis. Like, we did not see enough of Will Levis. If you think Will Levis balled out in that first half, you didn't watch the game enough, because there just wasn't enough there for you to feel that way. If you think Will Levis was bad in that first half, you didn't watch the game enough, because he didn't really do much that was bad in that half either. It was a disaster on defense, on special teams, on coaching, on ball security. The takeaway from that first half should not be Will Levis related, and yet I don't even know, Easton. I don't even know.
How do they finish? That's the question I want answered, and then we can break it all down at the end of the game. But how do they finish is big for me. I mean, via our friend Nick Suss here, third time the Titans in franchise history have trailed by 21 or more points at the end of the first quarter. In 2003, they trailed by 21 after 1 to Atlanta, came back and win that game. In 2012, trailed by 21 to your Chicago Bears, lost 51-20. So which one of those is it going to be, right? That's what I want to see in the second half. Do you get stomped on, or do you show some fight?
I mean, I just would like to see more football, more consistent, like actually play football, actually piece some drives together, actually find some answers here. Even if you're going to lose this game, like you said, let's play a competitive half and see what you can do. I don't know. Changes. I mean, if that first half doesn't inspire change here, though, like, what are we doing?
In terms of who's playing, in terms of firings, what do you mean?
All of it, man. All of it. Because how can we sit here week after week and we watched Jaquan Jackson fumble kicks, and then Colt Anderson gets up there and says, we've got a lot of faith in Jaquan. And then he comes out and he fumbles more kicks. And there's no accountability and there's no change. Jerome Baker sucks. Jerome Baker is bad. Bad. And I was suspicious of this. Before Jack Gibbons got hurt, there was one game, I believe. What was the home game that it was? It was the Vikings at home. They worked Jerome Baker into the defense, and every play I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, what are we doing? Jerome Baker is looking awful. And then
it was all that talk about, like, we want to get Jerome in there, but
no, and there was a reason he wasn't in there.
Good,
and now he's forced in there because Gibbons goes down. And I watch every run play, and I'm just like, what? Jerome, where are we going? Why are we going the wrong way? Like, I don't get that. I don't get the penalties by Arden Key. I don't get all of it. All of it.
Let's see another half of football. That's what we need.
What's your final score prediction right now? I know it's a weird one, but I'm gonna ask. I mean, I was gonna ask the chat. Normally, our question is, what's your confidence level that the Titans are gonna win this game, 1 to 10? But I mean, is anybody over a 1? Raise your hand in the chat if you're giving the Titans a chance over a 1 at winning this game right now. Because
42-24 is my final score prediction.
Okay, I mean, that means they score 17 points in the second half. I would take that.
Plenty of garbage time to be had if the Commanders score 42 points.
Listen, we did. First half was ugly, but
the bets are somehow alive.
Our bets are not bad.
I know. Let's see. That's what
the Calvin Ridley explosive pass hit. We're about halfway to Calvin Ridley's over in and NWI receiving yards. We're about halfway to Will Levis's over in passing yards. We are more than halfway to Will Levis's over in completions, which I took as well. I am negative.
Anytime touchdown, auto. I mean, listen, folks, how many times do I have to say things in your life that need to be on auto pay? Bills, rent, streaming subscriptions, NWI anytime touchdown. Those 4 things.
I'm
auto
3
pay
yards the wrong direction in my Tony Pollard over in receiving, but I would like to say the idea was correct because Callahan was trying to get those screens. So I wasn't wrong. I was just late or early or whatever.
Not wrong, just wrong.
Just wrong at the wrong time. Okay. Right at the wrong time, but not entirely wrong.
That's some crazy cope. I love that. All right. Well, the game is back, so let's get back to the game here.
Game's back. We'll see how this goes. I don't know what else to say. We'll see after the game for a fuller breakdown of Will Levis and everything Titans. All right, folks. See you later.